Hey guys, I'm Shane Snipes, and you are watching Sustainable 1000. I'm traveling around the country doing 1,000 interviews across 48 states in about 250 days, and this is a marathon for me. And what a great place to stop off. I took a couple extra days here in Boston just to spend a little time and to see what was going on. And I found out about you guys. My team located you, and tell me, what was your inspiration for creating this amazing project?
It's all about community. It's all about really connecting the food we eat and the real food with community, supporting local businesses, supporting local entrepreneurs, and really celebrating the whole system around local food. And so this is we've been planning this for over a year, and we have some very strict criteria to be part of the festival, but this is the first in the nation, I believe, that has this type of festival, and so we're extremely proud of this. And Jamey could talk about, you know, sort of the criteria that we've had, and Emily could talk about some of the planning that went behind it, and also, you know, local art, local food, you know, everything's local, man.
Sure. All right, tell me the criteria, because evidently, you know, local these days, and with the internet and with all this kind of stuff, people try to understand what's local, what's organic, but it's still kind of confusing. So what kind of criteria did you guys come up with at Boston Local Food Festival?
Well, first of all, obviously we're promoting Massachusetts first, but New England is all local to us. We don't base anything on mileage. But more importantly, what we're looking at is that it's not only farmers that are local. We also are involving local businesses. We have local restaurants, we have local specialty goods producers. What we want people to understand is local isn't a fad or a trend. What local is your community. So you come here and you see, if you're from Boston, you see all your neighbors around here not coming to the festival but working at it. And you realize that your neighbors are farmers, or that they're specialty producers, or that they're chefs. And that is really also very reflective of who we have here. We don't have national corporations here. Every sponsor, every single person that participates is a locally owned business. Every farm, even if it's a large, fairly large, something like Cabot Cheese, it's a locally owned New England farm.
Like Stony Farm Organic.
Stonyfield is not local, and it's it's publicly owned, so no, they're not here.
Oh, but I thought they were local. All their stuff is in New England.
That's not true.
Sorry, I've been corrected. You guys love to do that with me on Facebook and other stuff. So, go ahead.
That's very important to us, and why we don't have certain people that is because, again, that's not our community. Sure. Our community is who is here. If you can find and locate a person that lives in your neighborhood that owns a business, that is local. That is your community. So we don't have corporations. Publicly traded places are not.
So why?
Our community.
So part of the
why would you do it that way?
Because we want to show that local food is a network of your neighbors and of a community, that is sustainable.
I know it sounds like I'm being, that's not a question of animosity.
Sorry, so I just wanted to say that the mission of SBN, the Sustainable Business Network, which has put together this festival, is local, green, and fair. So that's the three-prong. We've got the green, we've got zero waste, we've got fair. Every portion is under $5, so people can afford to eat here. And then the local piece, and that is part of the whole SBN mission to promote locally owned, independent businesses. Spending money at locally owned independent businesses puts more money back in your community than spending money at a national corporation. So we're not trying to, we're not trying to call out the big chains. We're more trying to promote the locally owned independent businesses that we have here.
And we're also members of BALI, which is Business Alliance for Local Economy. So we're very active members of BALI, and you know that fits with our mission, and that's who we are.
You guys, I'm going to add one thing here, because I have some stats you guys know already, because I've talked about these things before. There's a whole spectrum of things. One thing that a lot of you guys don't realize, and I want to bring it up because we're talking about local stuff, is that when you buy something online from another state and you don't pay state taxes, it's the least sustainable choice of any choice you can make along a whole spectrum of choices. You know, big box stores, people always talk about those and going to big box stores, and don't go to big box stores, choose local ones. But the internet one was something that was revealed to me by an amazing woman who did Arizona First down in the Southwest.
Kimber? Yeah. We know Kimber. She's awesome.
Yeah. All right, so tell me, what were you going to say?
I was going to say one other thing that we're very focused on for here is when we say our community, we mean the entire city. And we made a very concerted effort from the beginning for a full year to make sure Boston's a city of neighborhoods, and we have pretty much all neighborhoods involved here. It's not just one or two of the high-end or well-known tourist or restaurant-filled neighborhoods. Every neighborhood is a community, and every one of them, by and large, is represented here. And we made a very focused, concentrated effort to assist any neighborhood or any restaurant owner who doesn't know how to buy local for free, to consult with them, to introduce them to chefs and make the connections between chefs and farmers, and to make sure that local food isn't just for one or two neighborhoods, it's for everybody in the city, that everybody has access to it. And that's what I thought of it when Emily mentioned everything is $5 or less. That's a great first step to showing that this is not an elitist thing, this is not a class-based thing. Local food has to be for everybody. If it's just for a few people, then it's not sustainable. For it to be sustainable, it has to be available and accessible to all people.
And in a way to do that, we've also asked vendors to control the portion size, so that they can also make money, so we can show that it is sustainable for a restaurant to charge a certain amount of money for a certain portion of food that can be eaten. It's also more healthy to eat, small portions of food rather than the massive plates that we sometimes eat at restaurants. So that's part of the whole mission that we're trying to promote here.
And one important thing about this festival also is that there is zero waste, and that's what we're trying to achieve up front with our vendors. All our vendors are required to have compostable, recyclable wares and utensils. We also practice by example, and so our goal is to minimize waste as much as possible, and zero waste means pretty much 90%.
Back to work, Jamey.
Thank you. Thanks, Jamey. So I think that's important, and Joe can join us and really talk a little bit more about the movement that we're in.
So Joe.
What else is there to say, really?
Exactly, you're done. I'm out.
Joe, I'm a proud, I guess, follower of someone who did something very similar to what I've done it now, but has took something across the United States some last year. Was it last year?
2 years.
2 years ago. And the goal is to travel across the country, do interviews, and talk about a shift to 10%. And I think that's a really important piece of it. Right now in Boston, you're representing another organization. So tell me about that and Somerville.
So I'm the executive director of Somerville Local First. We're a nonprofit network that works to build a sustainable community and an economy that, again, like SBN, is local, green, and fair. Speaking to the larger movement, we're one of 140 networks like that around the country. We have over 30,000 independent businesses organized, and the last 2 years are the fastest growth period in our history. So, there is a movement coming. I think, I don't know how you're estimating crowds, but you got to be between 5,000 and 10,000 people today, I would say. So, and this is a first-year event. So anyone who's done a first-year production of any kind knows that, you don't get that kind of turnout for a first-year event unless you're really onto something. So these guys have just done a tremendous job at SBN putting together something that the community cares about and wants. And I think that local food is a great example in a specific industry of the coming local movement. And like Jamey said, it's not really a fad because it's something that works for people and it's about community. And I think in general, that's what most people want in this world. Like, we could talk about social, virtual communities. We could talk about, like how you're engaging in life. But what people really want is to feel like they're part of something and to feel connected to where they are.
That's so true. So wise. It's like he's traveled around the country or something and has all these perspectives. I don't know what it is. I'm Shane Snipes, and you're watching Sustainable 1000. I definitely am excited to get your tweets, and we're going to do that in the next segment. So stay tuned for another couple minutes and get me your questions in there. We'll be answering them live, and I'll get those out. But in the meantime, tell me your website so folks can come and visit you guys, each of you. But for the event, of course.
A couple of websites for the event is www.bostonlocalfoodfestival.com.
We have the SBN website, which is www.sbnboston.org. And we also have a partner website, which is www.sustainablebusinessleader.org, and that helps small businesses become more environmentally sustainable. It's a big part of the mission of SBN.
Since most of your folks are on Twitter and Facebook, it's at Sville, Sville, local 1ST. So Sville Local First, or just search for Somerville Local First on Facebook.
Awesome. All right, guys, thanks so much for listening to us in this first segment. We'll be right back after this break. Ciao.